You read that title right. Last week, I made $200,000 through my real estate, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it in this video. Hello, this is Cory. So I want to welcome back those who are regular viewers, and I also want to welcome all the newcomers here. My name's Cory McArthur. I'm a top producing realtor here in London, and if you get any sort of entertainment or value out of this video, then I invite you to hit the thumbs up or like this video down below, as well as subscribe. If you haven't watched my recent video about investing in small town Ontario, I invite you to go back and do that after this video. In that video, I talk about how our first property that we purchased as an investment property was in small town Ontario, and it's actually what allowed us to kind of springboard into purchasing properties in bigger cities like London and like the one I'm standing in front of right here. Last year, my wife and I bought this property that I'm standing in front of for $379,900. We closed on it in August of the summer of 2019, and we put about another $25,000 into this property. So let's call it 405. Well, just recently, just last week, I had this property appraised by an appraiser for $600,000. So what does that actually mean? Well, here in Canada, a bank will actually allow you to borrow against the equity that's in your home. What they'll do is they'll require an appraiser to come through and give an assessment of value on the property. And what you can do is you can set up a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan, which is basically a cash out refinance where you pull that extra equity that you've made out of your property. In our case, on this particular property, because it appraised at $600,000, the bank requires that you keep at least 20% of that equity in the property, so $120,000. Now, we also have a mortgage of $295,000 on this property, which means there's equity there of $185,000 that we have access to. So since we just made $185,000, what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna take the next year off. I'm gonna lay on a beach and sip Mai Tais. No, of course I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go and buy another investment property. But I do wanna clarify a point here is you are taking a loan from the bank. It is not the same as selling your house for $600,000 and then paying off the mortgage and collecting the proceeds and it's sitting there in your bank account for you. You are legitimately taking a loan from the bank. So we're gonna take this money from this property and we're going to use it as a down payment for another investment property. And there's a few things I wanna highlight here. The first point I wanna make is that historically, I know that there's been really rapid appreciation in real estate values over the last 12 to 18 months. And this isn't something that you should expect to happen every single year that this property is gonna go up by 200 grand. That will not be the case. However, I think the fact that I can pull that equity out and have it sitting there ready for me to use, even if I wasn't gonna buy another investment property, it's there for me to use and it can't really be taken away. The other point that I wanna highlight is that the cost to borrow money right now is historically low. While it's not free, it's pretty darn close. So taking this money and this equity out of this property really doesn't cost me a whole lot. The other point that I really want to highlight, and this is I think one of the biggest benefits, is that that $185,000 that I'm going to go use or that I pulled out of this property is completely tax-free. I'm not being taxed on it like I just made $185,000. There is $0 in tax being paid. So I feel like I could go into a lot more detail on a lot of facets of this, but the point of this video is to help you see the value of owning real estate and the fact that it is an appreciating asset that you can then utilize to do what you want with that value, whether it's to buy yourself a bigger home or buy investment properties or invest it in other ways. It really becomes something that you can turn into a bit of a flywheel. In our case, it was tough for us to buy our first property, but then we were able to buy another and another, and now it's becoming easier and easier as that flywheel gets going, and that's the momentum of owning real estate. If you have any questions about anything that I have covered in this video, then I invite you to leave a comment down below. I always enjoy interacting with you. If you got any sort of value out of this video, then again, I invite you to hit the like button as well. And I also just covered a video on the difference between a home equity line of credit and a cash out refinance. So you can also find that over on my YouTube channel. That's it for me, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.